Hey Steph, I decided to record myself. That way you can see me making biscuits, well, gravy today, because I already made biscuits and they're in the freezer from last week. But we're going to start off with 2 tablespoons of butter. And 2 tablespoons, as you can see, my pan's hotter than it should be. And 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm making a modified version of the one I normally make, just because we're trying to cut down on the amount of fat that we're using inside of our gravy recipe. And I'm going to use 8 ounces of ground turkey breakfast sausage. And 8 ounces is, alright, and 8 ounces is about half a roll of sausage, because there's 16 ounces in there. And then I'm just going to ground it up until it's cooked through. The tiniest bit of pink is okay, but you don't want it really pink. You want it cooked all the way through, because of course you're going to boil it, so it's going to cook it some more. So if it's just a tiny little bit pink, you're fine. At this point where I have it mashed down, this is where I like to add some black pepper. And of course we use fresh ground black pepper. And you're just seasoning to taste. Okay, as you can see, it's cooked down. Of course it looks a little bit different because it's turkey sausage. And now I'm going to add my flour. I know I told you a half cup, but I realized that it's equal parts fat, equal parts flour. So I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of flour because I added a 1/4 cup of fat. And I will add more flour if needed. Like if I feel like this is really wet, I'll add more. It just depends on how much liquid I have in here. See, I feel like that's really kind of wet. So I'm going to add about another tablespoon of flour to this. Alright, so I don't know if you can see this. It's just a little slightly bit wet now and oily. I might have to add a little bit more flour, but we'll see. Like I said, I do it by taste. And look. And I'm going to cook down the flour and scrape the bottom off. I use about like 3 minutes. That way you don't get that flour taste. Alright, I'm going to put my water in the water glass. Oops, sorry. That way I can tell you how much. I'm starting out with, I fill the glass, it has 9 tablespoons. So I'll go down to and I just like to, oopsie, get it covered. So that is about 6 tablespoons of water. Okay, as you can see, it's thickening up. It's moving faster than I'm moving. So now I'm going to add milk and do the same thing. As you can see, it's already thick. So about 6, I guess that would be the same thing. The 6 tablespoons, just until it's covered. Okay, so I mixed it up and I scraped all the stuff off the bottom. It is a little thick, because I'm going to let it boil for a little bit. So you can let it come to a boil, and then once the boiling stops, that should be how thick your gravy is going to be. So if you need to add more milk to it than you would at this point, I'm going to add a little bit more milk because it feels a little thick. So basically you're into the consistency that you want at this point. And now I'm going to sprinkle a little chicken bouillon. I get the Knorr one, the soft one. It's just to add more flavor to it, because there's not a lot of fat in the sausage gravy. So I'm going to add about this much. Just a little bit. You don't need a lot. Until it tastes the way you want it to taste. Okay. And see, I add a little bit more milk to it too. At this point, I'm going to add a little bit more black pepper. Then I'm going to taste it again. And see if it needs anything else, like butter. Or Tony's, which is a all-purpose seasoning. Okay, it's right up to a boil. It's as thick as I want it. So now I've turned down my aisle. I had it on medium. And then I turned on my aisle and I'm going to taste it and then season it as needed. And then we're done. You can put it on top of your biscuits.